Would you guys believe me if I said the last couple months have been hell? And I wish I was kidding. It's included deaths of both the animal and human variety, so many little mess-ups, and then ended with me being in bed with a fever for 2 weeks. Absolute hell. And it hasn't quite let up yet, but I was well enough to go to work this morning, so I'm well enough to say something about media. So, while sat in bed for several weeks and looking for some comfort, I found myself rewatching the second season of My Hero Academia and then finally getting around to what has been released of the third season. This has become a comfort show for me, there is no other way about it. But what was interesting is while recovering in bed and frankly getting sick of turning on the TV, I decided to read the first couple chapters of the My Hero Academia manga, which I feel more should be called a comic, just because the more I read it, the more I find things like, just like in a Western comic, and it makes me laugh, and now I keep referring to it as the My Hero Academia comic. But yes, there are some real weird changes in the manga. I'm talking about up to chapter 11, which is just at the end of, I think it's like midway through season 1. It's the heroes versus villains mini fight thing that All Might leads with their class, and it's Ida and Bakugo versus Deku and Uraraka. And one thing I've noticed in the manga, one thing I've noticed is this show greatly benefits from being a TV show. Because trying to follow the fights in the manga are very blunt. They don't have the same flow. Kohei, the creator, he doesn't seem to have as good a talent for doing fights at the early stages. For all I know, it gets way better. But this was a series that greatly benefited from an animated series, which was great, because kind of when I got to points where I couldn't really follow the fights in the manga, I just kind of replayed the one in my head from the animated series and then put in the dialogue that was in the book, which was still great. I loved it. It was great, yeah, so I've just gotten to that point. What I find is, like I said, there's a lot of moments where they point out, just like in the Western comic, and there's one of my favourite lines from the show, which was in the book as well. It's just when All Might bursts in, he just goes, "I have come through the door in a normal fashion." And I think it's Deku that shouts, "Oh my god, he's in his Silver Age costume." That just really made me laugh. Like I said, this was really short, but I'm still technically recovering. But I would recommend trying the first couple chapters, especially if you haven't seen the show. I think it's a really good mixture of both Eastern and Western superheroes. I am up to date on the show. I love the show. I think so far my favourite character may be Deku's mother, just for, let's just say season 3, episode 12. That took a lot of guts. But yes, I think it's a great little read if you maybe don't like manga so much. I mean, I primarily read Western comics, but I've got too many volumes of manga to fit on the shelf, so they're all in a cupboard. But I would heavily recommend it. I still have problems with Deku's costume. I hate when he puts the mask on, because I know it's supposed to be a homage to All Might, but all I see is a giant green bunny rabbit.
I always wanted my own little bunny rabbit. I will name him George, and I will hug him and pet him and squeeze him.